Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I hope you all are fine and doing well. Our today's topic is functions of the kidneys. And you all know that the function acts as an osmoregulatory organ and it has its excretory role as well. The kidneys filter blood plasma, removes metabolic waste and toxins from the body and excrete them in the form of urine. During this process, they also maintains constant volume and concentration of the blood or homeostasis. The osmoregulatory organ, these are concerned with the formation of the diluted urine during the state of flooding and form concentrated urine during the state of dehydration. Blood enters the kidney via the renal artery, which divides into smaller arteries and finally into the arterioles. The arterioles comes into contact with the functional units of the kidneys called nephrons. This is where blood filtration and the urine formation takes place. The filtered blood is then collected into a series of larger veins and exits the kidney through the renal vein. The urine is collected into the collecting duct and leaves via the ureters. Each kidney contains 1,000,000 nephrons, and the nephrons are the functional units of the kidneys that we discussed in the previous topic. The nephron is composed of two major parts: a capsule, that is a glomerular region or the Bowman's capsule, and a long renal tubule. The renal nephrons connects to a collecting duct, and in this process following steps in the formation of urine will take place. The formation of urine involves glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion. So first of all, we will have a glance at the glomerular filtration. It takes place in the Bowman's capsule. The tubular secretion and reabsorption occur in the renal tubule. Water concentration it happens in the collecting duct. And in the fourth point, the blood enters the capsule via the efferent arteriole, which is larger in its diameter, and leaves via the efferent arteriole, which is smaller in its diameter. As the blood enters through a larger inlet than the smaller outlet, so hydrostatic pressure is generated. Hydrostatic pressure derive water and solutes from blood plasma to filtration, and the filtration membrane to the capsular space of the nephron. The filtration acts like a sieve, allowing the small molecules to pass through, and these small molecules include water, inorganic ions, glucose, amino acids, and various metabolic wastes such as urea and creatinine. All these are called the glomerular filtrate. The glomerular filter rate and its amount that is produced in 1 minute is called glomerular filtrate rate. Glomerular filtrate rate is also called sympathetic and hormonal control, and it is generally obtained by the constriction and relaxation of the efferent arteriole, efferent that starts with A. Now the filtrate volume is 150 liters per day to 180 liters per day in women and men respectively. But as compared to that, the urine that is produced as a result of this filtrate is only 1%, that is 2 to 3 liters. The rest 99% is reabsorbed by the tubules of the nephron. The first part of the renal tubule, as you can see in the diagram, is the proximal convoluted tubule. It reabsorbs about 2/3 of the filtrate, and in this process water and solutes are driven through the epithelial cells they line into the extracellular space. They then are taken up by the peritubular capillaries. Sodium reabsorbs into the ascending limb or thick loop of Henle, and sodium is constantly pumped out into the extracellular space. This creates a concentration gradient that favors sodium diffusion to the cells. Sodium binds to the glucose and some other solutes. Nearly all glucose and amino acid molecules are reabsorbed at this stage. And about half of the nitrogenous waste are also absorbed into the bloodstream. The kidneys reduce the metabolic waste to a safe amount. At this point, the tubular secretion, waste, drugs, and some other solutes leaves the bloodstream to join the tubular fluid. The process of reabsorption continues into the loop of Henle and the distal convoluted tubule. The main function of the loop of Henle is to create basically an osmolarity gradient in the medulla that enables the collecting duct to concentrate the urine in the later stage. The ascending limb loses sodium actively, maintaining the medulla salty. The descending limb of the loop is more permeable to water. As the water leaves the filtrate by osmosis, the filtrate becomes more and more concentrated as it reaches to the bottom of the convoluted tubule. Now the descending limb, on the other hand, is permeable to ions but not water, as a result of which the filtrate loses sodium as it moves up in the limb and becomes more diluted. So when the filtrate reaches the bottom of the limb, it becomes more concentrated, and as it moves up into the limb, it becomes diluted. The reabsorption and secretion in distal convoluted tubule is under control of various hormones. Now all these points have been clear. I am reading them one by one. Glomerular filtration is the pressure filtration or the ultrafiltration, which I have told you is caused because of the hydrostatic pressure in the glomerular part. It takes place in the renal capsule under pressure. The pressure comes from the blood pressure and is known as hydrostatic pressure. Glomerular capillaries have exceptionally high blood pressure than in any other part of the capillary bed in the body. And the diameter of efferent arteriole is half as compared to the afferent arteriole. Due to such high pressure, the water and small solute molecules are filtered out of the glomerular capillaries and are collected into the Bowman's capsules. The larger molecules, like proteins, as well as red blood cells and platelets, are left behind in the blood. The filtered fluid in the capsule is called the glomerular filtrate. It has chemical composition similar to that of blood plasma. These two parts have already been told: the selective reabsorption, that was tubular reabsorption, and the tubular secretion. Normally, urine has a pH range from 4.8 to 7.5. Now, the hormones which are involved in the tubular secretion are aldosterone, its function is to actively uptake the sodium into the ascending limb or thick loop of Henle. This hormone is secreted from the adrenal cortex. The antidiuretic hormone, the other site in the nephron where reabsorption of water takes place, is called collecting tubule. Antidiuretic hormone released from the posterior pituitary. It actively transports water from the filtrate into the collecting tubules back to the kidney. These two hormones has a very important role in the functioning of the kidney. Thank you.